We are recording this, and a transcript is started. All right, welcome, folks. I'm Rob Manfredi. I'm the owner of Bamboo Solutions. Thanks for coming. We're going to take a look at a couple key products today. We were an exhibitor at the Collab conference in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago, and we had such a great turnout. We had over 170 visitors to our booth, and we highlighted very briefly a couple key products that everybody was interested in. So I thought we would run a webinar and dig a little deeper into each of those, show a demo of them, and let you know how our pricing works and how you can get a free trial for each of these products. So we'll do a short PowerPoint, we'll take a quick website tour, and then we'll jump into the 4 products, which will be List Search, Tabify, TreeView, and CalPlus. All right. So a little bit about Bamboo. We're a leading provider of both enterprise class software, as well as consulting services for SharePoint and Microsoft 365. We've had over 8,000 customers use our products, and we currently have close to 2,000 customers on support. So we're definitely reaching a lot of farms and a lot of SharePoint Online tenants with our products and services. We always like to say our experience makes us best in class. We've seen just about everything. We've been doing this. The Bamboo brand has been doing this since 2001, but we purchased Bamboo in 2016. We've been around for about 10 years. We've got about 40 consultants and developers, very high customer satisfaction rating, and again, lots of customers using our stuff. On the services side, not only do we develop products, but we can also help our customers with 365 migration and support for help desk and end users. We're doing a lot of work in the GCC and GCC High for those companies that have DoD contracts and are dealing with confidential ITAR information. We've got a bunch of great architects. We can do administration, custom development, UI, UX support, and the like. So at any given time, we've probably got about 20 projects in flight with various customers, both federal and commercial across the US. All right, let's jump into the first product, which is List Search. So the goal of List Search is to quickly locate information that matters within a SharePoint list or document library. So what this product does is it allows you to make it easy for your users to find what they need and to get really an expected result on that search. So the interface allows you to create a simplified search interface against your list or library, and then you can target a specific SharePoint list or library without having to create indexes or search scopes. The search results are presented in a nice SharePoint list view. And what you can see on the right is a very complicated list search, but really the users only have to type in it and get the results against a list or library. That is a lot different than the search at the top of the SharePoint, which is going to give you everything within the site collection, and really putting operators in that top search bar is difficult. So this is meant to be if a user if you have a large list or a large document library and you want the users to search against that specific list or library, this is the perfect product for you. In addition, we can do some things that out-of-the-box SharePoint can't do, right? Which means you don't have to learn how to plug in and/or operators into the search bar. We can actually search number fields and currency fields and Boolean fields. You can't do that with out-of-the-box SharePoint. And we've got some great operators such as equal to, we can see here is before, is after, is between, is near. So that even ranges can go against currency numbers. So if you're looking for a value that is in between 2 values, like give me all search results in this list between these $2 values or between these 2 contract values or start dates, you can do that very easily here. Targeting specific lists or libraries is really important because you can put this web part in a different site collection or site and then search a list or library that's somewhere else, right? So that really allows you to spread that information out across different team sites, collab sites, and the like without having to move lists and libraries or link or leave those areas to get your results. We can do partial word searches. which out of the box SharePoint doesn't return any results if you're doing partial word. So we can do partial word as well as whole word. And then you can export the information that you've done. So let's take a look quickly at how this works. I'm going to grab, and then we'll show you how it's set up. Okay. So here's simple list search. It's added to a modern page in SharePoint Online. And essentially we've got the information that we want to search here. So this is going against a list that exists in this site collection or a different list. So let's go ahead and just search for everything at first. So we'll do a full search. And what we see is there's really just 7 items in this, but we've got all of our items that are from the list that we want to show. And we'll show you that configuration in a second. We've got person fields, we got created dates, right? These are kind of old, created by, and some date times and things like that. So if we want to refine that search, right, we can go in here and say, you know what, I want only documents that are done by finance. So you can see that that brought the drop down from the list into that field. I go ahead and search that. And now I've got 2 documents that are highlighted with finance in there. And let's say I get a whole bunch and I actually want to refine that. I can just come back up here and say, you know what, I want all documents that were created by Courtney Edwards, right? So I hit a search and then we actually get a refined result down here even more. We've got a search in all columns feature. I can go ahead and reset that and do other things. So this is nice, right? So if I get the created, I can do is between, is near, is after, right? So if we do an in between, we get a second field here. So I can go back and, you know, I got to go all the way back to 2021 on this one, I believe. So we'll say is between March 1st, 2021 and March, we'll go April, May 30th, 2021. We'll do a search. And then we've got our lists here. It looks like somebody's just joining us. Let me go let them in. All right, let me just get back to this. Okay, so what we've done is using the simple search against that field, we're actually able to create some complex search patterns, and you can see we can go back and refine our results, right? So now I've got all of this. Let's say now I just want to find all the documents in here that are related to finance that are between those dates. And I've got those here as well. So let's take a look at how this is set up real quickly. But obviously you can see the power, right? Now, if I were to try to search for those within here, I'm going to get things within the search. I'm going to get things within different document libraries. I'm going to get everything within the site collection. I can keep paring it down, but it can become very frustrating for your users. So by adding this web part to a page and configuring it, I'm getting the results that I want right from the list that you're targeting. All right, so let's go ahead and edit this real quick and just show you how simple it is to configure this tool within your site. So all of our apps are SPFX. You add them right to your app catalog, and then you can add them to any page within your tenant. We'll talk about licensing in a minute. Once you've done that, and you've got access, contributor access, I believe, you can go ahead and edit the document or edit the information within the web part. And essentially, you're going to go through these steps right up here. So you just simply say, what is the URL that contains the list or library, right? So you'll copy that URL. And again, it can be in a different site collection. You hit load and you'll get all your lists from that area. You can grab the list that you want to do your searching against. It'll then bring you all of your columns. You can choose which columns you want to present to the user to search against, right? So simply by selecting these search columns, it will build this form for you. And based on the column types, it will give you these Boolean operators that we saw here, right? If it's a date, it will allow you to do these as equal tos. If it's a number, and things like that, currency and the like. By default, anything you choose in your search columns will also be presented in your search result columns, all right? But you can actually add additional columns if you'd like. Down here, you can choose if you want to allow partial word search or whole word. You can disable the drop-down menus for lookup columns, or you can autofill default column values. You can choose if all of these fields are going to be joined with an and or an or. It really depends on what you want to do. And if you're searching a document library, do you want to include all your nested folders as well, or do you just want the top level one? This checkbox allows you to search all columns with this all columns button down here at the bottom and the like. So once you've set up your search criteria, then you can go ahead and configure your search results criteria. So you can use a view, in this case we're using all items, or you can define custom view options and choose columns that you want to include. By default, it will always include everything that you have in your search, but if you want to add additional columns, right, to your results, you can add those as well. You can choose how many you want to show at one time before you paginate. And then you can also do some sorting, right? So you can select the column that you want to sort on your results by saying, you know what, I want to sort by created by content type, by title. And then you can actually have a secondary sort as well. And then a lot of neat display options, whether you want to allow exporting to Excel, printing, what colors you want for your highlighting, and the like. On your look and feel, we do give you all of your CSSs so that you can edit those as you see. You can change the title of the web part. See the simple list search right here, actually right here. So if you want to name it like, you know, parts list search or whatever you want to do, you can do that as well. So once you've got that all set up the way you want, you hit publish. And this web part is then available on your page for your users to go ahead and search. Super useful. And again, searches document libraries as well as lists. And it can search lists in different site collections. So you could put this web part in a team site that's searching a parts list somewhere else or a document library somewhere else and bring those results in here and the like. Awesome. So that's the first product. Let's go back to our PowerPoint and take a look at Calendar Plus. So this was a really big hit at the show. It's one of our best-selling products. And what Calendar Plus allows you to do is roll together calendars and lists from different site collections or the same site collection into a single unified calendar view. You can then color code those events. You can have a search bar across all of the rolled together items within that calendar. You can have a Gantt view or a calendar view. We allow week numbering or not week numbering, and you can add it to any page. Some new features that we've recently released is we've got some new views that you can't get out of the box in SharePoint. We've also got improvements within multi-month displays to make it more visually appealing. The event search is a new feature that we've added that allows you to search across all the calendars you've rolled together. And coming this summer, a couple things with reordering of the legends, we are coming out with Exchange support. So not only can you bring in items from lists and calendars within SharePoint, but you can tunnel through the Graph API into Exchange and grab any shared calendars such as conference calendars, users calendars, event calendars, asset calendars, and roll them together into a single unified view within Calendar Plus as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Awesome. Okay, Calendar Plus. So we've added this product to the web page. And first thing you can notice is it's super colorful, right? So it allows you to color code based on the calendar and a category, which is just another field within your events, so that you can quickly see two calendars. One is Project One, the other one is Oversight. All the events for these two calendars rolled together into a single view. Now we've got a lot more views than you get with the out-of-the-box calendar. So we've got a month weekday view, which gets rid of Saturday and Sunday, gives you a little more screen real estate. We've got a nice agenda view, which shows you only days that have events and what those events are. Here's the multi-month view, so we can see by week number the items that are in there. That nifty little pop-up is configurable to include whatever information you want from the calendar, so that you don't have to click on it to see the details of that event. We've got a quarter view and we got a year view and a couple other views as well. So you can see got a nice year view there. All of this stuff, whatever view you're in, you can export to as a PDF, as an image, as an Excel spreadsheet, and it creates a nice view that you can then share with other people. Notice that you can also add events to any of the sub calendars that are rolled together. And then here's the search bar, so that if I was really looking for touch points, and I do a search, I can then see all of the touch points across the different calendars as a result and the like. The legend themselves are filterable. So if I want to turn off the Project One calendar, I can just click on it and it gets rid of all the events related to that calendar. Similarly, I can go ahead and turn them all off. And then let's just say I want to see planning category within Project One. So I can even zoom into just a specific category within a calendar quickly and see the events that are related to that. Really powerful for your users and the experience there. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this is configured. So again, it's an app that's added to your app catalog. You can then add it to any page within your tenant. And then we hit our little configurator button. So you can choose the default view as a calendar, Gantt, or list. You can choose to have that new button appear or not appear. And unlike the SharePoint out of the box, right? If I don't have access to one of these calendars, I simply won't see that calendar. In SharePoint out of the box, if you don't have access to one of them, you can't see any of your combined calendars, let alone the color coding and the filterable legends and everything else. So we actually have a much better improvement in rolling calendars together. Within the SharePoint calendar, you can only see 2 items at a time. In this case, you can set how many items in the cell you want, as big as you want to make it or as small as you want to make it. And then in your multi-month views, you can set the number of events as well before you get this little more button down at the bottom to see more events. So this is showing that there are more than 3 events, and then off we go. Your data sources are configured very simply. In this case, you add a data source. Simply, you can give it its own calendar name. You can give it its calendar color. You can see that color is right there, but this is a color picker. You can then change the font, right? So this font is set to white, right? The type of font, we've got lots of font choices, and the size. You give us the URL that calendar or events list or a simple list with dates exists. You load your lists, you grab the list that has your events. You can choose to display the name of this calendar or not. You tell us what within the list is the title, what is your start time, what is your end time. And in this place is where we choose what is going to be in the tooltip pop-up, right? So we're then choosing other items within the calendar or list that you want to show in that little pop-up, which is the hover over, right? And then you tell us what field is your category field. So in this case, if I were to choose created by, it'll grab all the unique items that are going to be my category and assigns a color, but you can change those colors as well. In this case, we're going to use category and the like. Now, this is where it gets interesting, where if you're bringing this data to a rolled together calendar and you want to actually reduce the amount of data that you're showing in the rolled together calendar. Let's say these are all project calendars or their team calendars or their event calendars. You can say, you know what, all I want to do is show everything with a category that is meeting, work hours, and business. So it can turn off categories and they won't display the events that match those categories there. You can also use an existing view, right? So if you just have a view that is going to reduce the amount of data that's coming from that calendar, you can do that. Or you can specify a condition. So in this case, I could say, you know what? I only want events that were created by, and we'll say by Diana, right? So any events that were created by Diana, we're going to roll together into this new roll-up calendar. Now, the original calendar will stay the same, obviously, right? But in this rolled up view, you can actually, from this one calendar, trim that down. And you can specify, and you can nest these filter conditions together as well. And then you just wash, rinse, and repeat. So we grab our second calendar, which is project one, right? And then you can add a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and you can just keep adding calendars together. This is going to work the same with Exchange. When you add a list or Exchange calendar, it'll work exactly the same coming out this summer. Then from there, some really nice to haves. You can select the default view for your users when they come to this page. What view do you want to show them? And then you can choose out of all of our views which ones you want to show on here. So if you want to reduce the amount of views that you have at the top, you can actually turn them off, except for the one that you choose as the default. You can't turn that one off. You can choose to show week numbers. See my week numbers here, right? And I can show week numbers in the multi-month views or not. I can group my meetings by week number. And then this hide rows will actually hide a row if it's not in the current month. So sometimes it bleeds over, and you don't want the next month to show at the bottom, right? So we have that to turn that off. You can change your starting date from Sunday to Monday. In Europe, when they show a month view, their starting date is always Monday, and the Saturday, Sunday are over on the right. And then for your week numbering, we support all of the same things that Outlook supports, where week number 1 could be the first day of the year, it could be the first full week, or it could be the first week with the majority of days, or the first 4-day week. Once you've set that up, you can choose to display your legend or not. You can put it at the bottom on the left, or as we see it here on the right, and then you can turn filtering on or off. Now, let's say you've got your calendar all set up and you want to add a new calendar to it. So you go to your data sources, you add a third calendar, let's say, but you want that calendar in the legend to be at the top. So you can reorder the calendars in the legend, right? So if you wanted project 1 to be at the top, you just simply do that, and this will show at the top and overview will be at the bottom. It's really super important as this thing is rolled out, and it's somewhat dynamic. So we'll go ahead and submit this. We'll republish it. And we can see project 1 is at the top. Here's our oversight, and we're ready to go with our product. Super cool, really useful, and the like. All right, let's go to the next one, Tree View. This is another great user. Let's just make sure I've got no questions. Where are we? Nope, no questions, no raised hands. All right, thank you all. All right, Tree View. So Tree View, this solves just a common user complaint, right? And this complaint actually leads to folks taking document libraries and syncing them down to their to Explorer, which is something we don't want to do. We want them to work in SharePoint, but navigating through document libraries can be somewhat cumbersome for your users. So what Tree View does, it allows users to quickly navigate through files and folders in much like Windows Explorer. It has a lot of features that you can configure that we'll see, but it does support dragging and dropping of files between file folders, as well as from your desktop to a file folder. It is all still security trimmed, so even if you've tree viewed a document library, if some of those folders aren't viewable by that user, they won't see them. And we can also tree view metadata. So if you no longer have folder structures, but you've assigned metadata to a flat folder with a bunch of files in it, we'll tree view that metadata so it looks like Explorer for those users. So let's go ahead and take a look at tree view, because seeing is believing on this one. All right. The nice thing about Tree View, much like Simple Search, is that it can live in one location and then access a document library from a different site collection, right? So if you want, let's say within a team site, to access a document library somewhere else, you can just put Tree View in that team site and then point it to the other place, and then people can browse through the information there. In this case, I've got a folder that starts with site assets, right? But I can go down to my closeouts, and you can see on the right, rather than breadcrumbing down through each of these folders, I can quickly navigate between folders and see the information. Once I've got it, I can do all the same things, such as alerting. I can do I can download multiple files at once. I can change my view across the document libraries if I had more views. And I can, if I want to, let me go ahead and deselect these, grab this guy, and I want to move it over here. Do that. I can do a copy or move. I'll do a copy, verifies it, and then that document actually would then be over there in the giving marketing. So we can see it's moved over there as well. Similarly, I can grab things out of Exchange and drop it right on top of a file folder here, and drag and drop information in here as well. So really easy to use. Customers love it. Sometimes you can put Tree View endless search on a single page, and you've got a searchable document library as well as a Tree View document library. So now we can navigate with ease and the like. So looks simple. Let's take a look at what we can do in terms of setting it up. That gives you some really flexible options to configure this thing exactly the way your users want to work on it. Okay, so we can point it to a list, right? But you can also tree view a site structure if you'd like. So almost like a navigation through a site, but it's in a tree view. We're not going to go through that today, but those, that's there. You grab the site URL, you load your lists, you grab the list or library that you want to tree view. Then you can select how many views you want to include in that view. So you can actually have multiple views that you add. And then we'll give you the full layout of what we see there. What's great about this is you can start your tree view at a lower level. So let's say you've got a big document library, but for this specific team site, really the closeout documents or this project is all you want to show. So you can start the tree view here and they will only see the folders underneath that starting node and they won't see anything else. So it's a way to have a big document library, but for a specific site that you want to tree view, you're just going to get a little subset of it. Now, let's say you do want all of it from site assets down, but you want to hide a couple nodes. So you give you that option as well. So in this case, I'm going to see everything underneath site assets, but I'm going to exclude for this instance of tree view, the SPX RPP folder. Lots of flexibility to keep this pertinent to the user and what they're expecting to see at the site that you've installed tree view on. Some nice things is you can automatically expand levels based on the number of levels we have. We can choose to automatically expand none, 1, or 2 levels. So you can see we actually expanded 2 levels here, but not the third, right, which is this one. This width can default. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Whether you want to display this toolbar or not. And then you can organize the results that we see by folder, by the term store, or you can group by, I don't know if group by actually does anything yet, but it's going to be. But if you do the term store, right, you can choose your metadata columns that you're going to want to group by. Okay. You can choose your look and feel. You can edit your CSS. And pretty much once you've done that, you go ahead and save it, republish it. And now you've got a Explorer-like feel to navigate through your document library. You can see this opened up nice and wide. So I get this really long one here and the like. So that's tree view. Super cool, super fun, and really necessary for everything within your site. All right, Tabify, another super useful tool that should be on every SharePoint Online tenant. So what Tabify does is it allows you to bring together all of your web parts within a single zone into a tabbed interface versus a very long interface that people have to scroll down. We preserve all the functionality of the things that you've tabified. You can customize the headers of the tabbed items. It does support the theming and colors, and you can choose to exclude certain web parts within that zone as well. So let's take a look at how Tabify works. All right, so Tabify. So we've added Tabify to this page, and there are actually 4 web parts within this zone. So if you didn't have Tabify, you would see this carousel, and then it would be the YouTube, and I'd scroll down farther to see the Twitter feed, and I'd scroll down even farther to see the people web part. But in this case, I can just simply run through my tabbed interface to see everything. Now I've got an edit permissions, but I can give these things a more friendly name than what the web, SharePoint knows these to be. And the like. And it supports not only out of the box, but also custom web parts as well. This is our people web part, which allows you to grab people from Exchange and bring them in as a directory. So in order to configure this, super simple. Actually, we're going to first configure it with the edit button. You simply add Tabify, this web part, to the same zone as all of the web parts that you want tabbed. So we can see our people profiles, our Twitter, and the like. So rather than having this big scrolly page, when we add Tabify to it and publish it, it tabs them. And then you go ahead and edit. your fields, and off you go. But let's say this people web part you didn't want in the tab interface. You can go ahead and through this say, I want to exclude the people web part, hit save. And now we've got our 3 tabs, and then down below is our people web part. So even though it's in the same zone, you do have the option to exclude it. You can also, this nav color can be changed in the background as well. So it's this, you see what's highlighted, it's this greenish color that's simply set here with this code. Right, so it can match your theming if you'd like. Super easy. You can see how it really saves a ton of screen real estate and presents information in a way that people are going to want to click on it and move through your website. All right. Let's talk a little bit about licensing. So I know you all want this. You want every one of these. All right. So we do not have any subscription pricing. This is a perpetual license model, and it's a single price for your entire SharePoint tenant, right? You can put it on as many site collections once you've owned it. It is a perpetual license that includes first-year maintenance, which is upgrades and help desk. Second-year maintenance is only 22% of the purchase price, and it is optional, right? If you are a larger customer that has more than 2,000 users in your SharePoint site, there is an additional yearly support fee that is part of our enterprise support plan. So the way that works is if you're more than 2,000 but less than 10,000 SharePoint users, simply $2,500 per year per account, not per product, will be added to your purchase price and maintenance optional maintenance years. So if you have all 4 products, you don't pay this 4 times. You just pay it once per account. And this really allows us to support the number of tickets that our larger customers have. If you're between 10,000 and 100,000, it's an additional $13K per account. And if you're over 100,000 SharePoint users, and yes, we have customers that large, it's additional $39K per year. The products themselves are really inexpensive, right? So if we come to our webpage and we go to products, the blue products over here are SharePoint Online. And you can go here to view all products, and you can see the products that we saw today. So for example, Calendar Plus on the product page at the bottom, this product is $3,995 for a perpetual license and first-year support. Second year will be 22% of that price, or roughly $800 a year for upgrades and continued support. Again, if you are over 2,000 users, you would need to go look at our enterprise support plan, which we saw before, and it would be an additional $2,500 per year for support. This try-buy will give you free trials to all of our products with no credit card needed. You just simply add the trial, add it to your cart, download it, and put it in your app catalog. These products are also available on AppSource. So if you go to AppSource at Microsoft and simply search for Bamboo, you can see there's our knowledge base, Calendar Plus, Tree View, Simple Search, Chart Plus, Visual Indicator, List Print, Tabify. So they're all here. Just simply hit Get It Now, and it will automatically install into your app catalog as a trial version. You do have to buy it through our website or through a quote we can give you as well. So all of the products are here. There are 4,000 or less per product, and we do a lot of bundling. If you want to buy more, just let us know, and we'd be happy to do that for you. A couple pricing examples just to finish things up, right? Let's say you wanted to buy Calendar Plus and you were less than 2,000 users, you would be $39.95 first year. Your renewal for option on year 2 would be $878, and the like. Whoops, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. And then we've got some examples here for if you are larger and have multiple products. And this is just to show you that enterprise cost is per account, not per product. So you would just pay it once. So your second year would be the maintenance for the individual products plus that enterprise cost tier 2. quite the deal for perpetual license. You can use it across as many site collections as you want, and really get the value of the product without any operational risk of a subscription and the like. That's all we have to show today. I want to thank you all for coming. If there's any questions, let us know. If you want to start a trial, we will help you install it and configure it at no charge. Just simply email us or open up a ticket, and we'll be happy to do that for you. Any questions before we go? Oh, we got a chat question. Yes, there will be a recording of this session. It will be on our website, but we'll also send it to you as follow-up in an email. When you download multiple files, when you download multiple files in TreeView, it comes down as a zip file, as a compressed folder. The on-prem version of TreeView works exactly like this version, except it does not support the drag and drop into the folders from your desktop. We never got that to work very well in the on-prem version, but the online version does support that. So that's really the main difference between the on-prem and the online version. So yes, Curtis, it does work. Since I missed that, I don't know if he's still here. Yeah, you're still here. Great. I think that's all the questions. Multiple files, zip, on-prem version, and yes, there will be a recording of this, Nicole. And if you want to start a trial, please email us, and we look forward to working with you all. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.